Hey, good morning. And of course, it's lunchtime. I'm starting to think I should just call myself the lunchtime, I don't know, lunchtime tarot or something like that. I'll think of it. But at any rate, a lot of people have asked me why I've decided to start recording my readings. And there's actually a lot of reasons behind that. One of them is because I am in the throes of finally earning my bachelor's degree, and I'm really close on that. And I'm also starting to embark upon a nursing program. So you can imagine that that's quite a rigorous schedule. My ultimate goal is, to become a medical intuitive. And basically, I don't have time to add that piece in a formal way to work with the medical intuitive portion of it, because the socially acceptable stuff, for lack of a better word, is pretty demanding. So I am doing the things that I have done for a really long time, but I'm taking it a little bit further. I learned my teachings from a lot of different places, and I do a lot of personal work. I meditate for hours, and so in my own way, by doing my readings now online and I'm putting my feet to the fire a little bit, because I'm starting to be able to articulate what I intuitively know and feel and understand in a way that maybe is actually helpful to other people, rather than kind of keeping it to myself, number one. And it's teaching me to be a little more clear about what it is that I'm doing and how I can help, and in a way that people hopefully can understand and have an opportunity to question. So anyway, so here's today's reading. And the reason I decided to record a little bit of a longer video, which I will post the link on in my Instagram, is because I'm writing a lot, and I love to journal, and that's really important, but I think it takes people a lot of time to read. So I'm going to go ahead and record this. And it's most lengthy format. And we'll see where we go with it. Like I said, I wrote a lot of stuff, and like you can see, I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and wrote. You can see these sketch outs and all kind of stuff. And I've been doing this actually for quite a few days. But maybe we need to be doing it a little bit differently. So I need to kind of find where we were from the beginning of this day, which feels like, oh, it was right here. Awesome. So before I get started, I guess I should show you the cards. And it's pretty exciting, actually. We've got the Nine of Pentacles that came out first, kind of flew out. And then the Judgment card came out with the Hierophant again. And I've got a great story for that. That's what started all this journaling today. And the Queen of Cups came out. Bottom of the deck was the Queen of Pentacles. So here's our players. We've got the Nine of Cups, the Hierophant, Judgment came out together, Queen of Cups, the Judgment card was on top, by the way, and the Queen of Pentacles. We could go further into this deck. We've got the Six of Wands under her to give a little more context. Page of Wands, passion. I just love that card. She's fantastic. We've got the Ten of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune upright today. You know, we could go on and on and on. So at any rate, as I started this this reading today, basically I saw the date, the 3/19, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of threes. The Ascended Masters are really on board today. This is a really cool day. And I don't always, I actually, I don't listen to the things for the day before. This is what I'm reading is purely my own stuff that comes in through my own meditations. And then I listen to a lot of different things later on, and readers and speakers during the course of the day that I mean, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. But as I wrote today's date, I was surprised to feel the significance of the numbers land on me. There are a lot of threes, and three is the number of the Ascended Masters. And they're definitely lending their divine support today. And basically, we need to lean in and hear what they have to say and follow their guidance. Ascended Masters are any saint, any higher power, any God of your understanding, Kuan Yin, Jesus, anything larger than you. And we're called today to, and every day, to lean into that. And this was actually a message that landed on me when I was in the middle of my prayers, before I even sat down in meditation today. So this came in for me pretty early on about like, ask for help, ask for guidance today, constantly ask for us, we're here, we're here, we're here. I was like, okay, I hear that. And honestly, I'm not that great at doing that. I think that a lot of us know to do that maybe at a certain portion of the day or on Sundays or whenever we go to church, for some of us who keep those traditions. But on the whole, we don't always do that at different points throughout the day. And we're asked to do that today, to call us, because they're definitely here and they want us to slow down enough to call them in as much as possible today. The numbers of today, the date, equal 25. And 25, before you break it down, indicates a major life change and encourages us to maintain optimism through that. And when you break it down, 2 plus 5 equals 7, which is mind and creativity, a thinking out of the box, if you will, and to find solutions as we move forward through changes, because sometimes these changes are difficult. And and this is very fitting, because, considering the cards that came up today and the time, and especially since we're right upon the spring equinox, to constantly check in with our wiser self and our guides for creative solutions on the way forward and on a path we may be questioning, even though we initially thought it was the right way to go, or we just feel a little unsure in the steps that we're taking. If our path is pretty new, then I think a lot of us are probably in that place. I also see the 25 is the number of these two central cards, the Judgment card and the Hierophant. And these two came out together. And they're also Major Arcana cards, which means that they are not just an avenue or a street sign. These guys are Major Arcana cards that come up on our journey in order to point us like very, very strongly in a particular direction. And one of the things that I noticed today was that there's a cairn behind this Hierophant. Now, I meditated on him pretty significantly back in the March 7th reading, and I encourage you to listen to that. And what was really interesting to me, what becomes even further interesting, is that even before I did my prayers and meditations, a cardinal, I was in the kitchen talking with my daughter, and a cardinal landed on the holly tree right outside our kitchen window. He was like right there. And so I started talking with her about the cardinal totem energy I was channeling a couple of weeks ago. And then we furthered our conversation, and this, I was talking with her about the Hierophant card and the Judgment card, about those cards that came up on that day as well. And boom, later on, like, an hour or two later, here they come in the middle of this reading. So I find that really interesting, as well as him landing on a female holly tree outside, which I also talked about in that reading. So on March 6th and 7th, the days when I was discussing this online on Instagram, the days were the days of the Pisces new moon and the ingress of Uranus into Taurus. So I really think that today is a day to reflect back on that. And my cardinal friend was actually present for me that day, and his wife actually, so on those 2 days as well. So, I've got some work to do on that as well, and I'll consider that as my day moves forward. So we talked about that, and the meaning of the Hierophant and the Judgment cards, and so it's pretty cool. So after all this blah blah, what does all this mean? Well, the theme from yesterday was reading, which is fully on Instagram. It's not on YouTube. Continues. We've got tomorrow coming on us, which is this solar new year. We've got spring equinox, which is amazing. And we're on the cusp of great abundance here, which is indicated by our 9 of Cups card. Now, there are cards of abundance in the tarot deck. This is one of the biggest ones. I mean, you see the abundance of fish. And the star card came up yesterday as well at the bottom of the deck, meaning, again, wishes and dreams coming true. So, these cards of abundance keep popping up. But we are definitely at a crossroads. And so, it's like, oh my God, I'm so freaking sick of that. Well, that was my impulse that came up too. But I feel like I need to also examine why I'm like, oh, I'm always at a crossroads. I'm always at a crossroads. What do I mean? It's like, well, we are. And, what's my resistance around that? What do I feel is keeping me from actually stepping into a new beginning? Those are the meditations that are coming up for me around that. And, like everybody else, I've got to work with that. But we are at the cusp of great abundance. We're definitely at a crossroads. And in order to step into that level of prosperity, a level that we've never known, we've got the Queen of Cups here. I mean, she is manifesting like crazy. Queen of Pentacles. Although the Chariot didn't show up today again, I thought, it felt very Chariot-ish in yesterday's reading, and I'm feeling that again as well. It did in Uriel Firelight's reading, which I'll also, she's awesome online. You got to listen to her. And it was really funny. I was thinking, oh, wow, the Chariot should have showed up in reading. And then much later on, when I was listening to her reading as I was grocery shopping, I nearly fell out laughing in the produce section because in her reading, it did come up. So I just love when that happens. It's really, really cool. But at everything Uriel puts out, and so definitely listen to her. And yeah, we're still working with that energy, but with a greater urgency now that the Judgment card has arrived and it's coupled with this Hierophant. And there's a couple of messages in this Hierophant, like I'm indicating this cairn here. You see it on him. The cairn is a marker of the dead in Celtic tradition. It's also, they're kind of like things that we find as we're hiking along a trail, which, indicate to us that we're on the right path. Again, there's that Ascended Master message from earlier. So they're memorials to the honored past, as well as markers pointing the way forward. And to further honor the energy of what has gotten us where we are today. What has even gotten us to this crossroads? But know that you can't take that stuff with you as dead weight. We must transform the energy as this Judgment card is showing us to do. And our perceptions of the past in order to move forward with the lightness of these butterflies. Again, see, she's playing a trumpet, very much like our Six of Pentacles friend yesterday. She's playing a whole new tune, and she's actually transforming dead stuff into beauty. And so we need to do that, I think, as we move forward. How can we look back on our past and the things that have gotten us here in a way that is of beauty and honor, rather than letting it drag us down? We always say, oh, you have to put stuff down, you have to put that stuff down. I think transformative energy is more the key here. Working with this from a place of love in our hearts and listening to our heart's true desires, as is our Queen of Cups here. She's manifesting, but please remember, though, that we have got to definitely transform in order to spin and manifest in the way she's doing with such beauty. Those big cairns, like I said, are definitely markers at crossroads, the big ones. That. They're definitely ways forward, at a fork in the road, so to speak, an intersection. We are at an intersection of spirit, of matter, That's really something that's shown right here, which I'm just picking up right now. Like, we are at an intersection of heeding the spiritual call in order to transform our world into true abundance, true prosperity, to putting down the ego and our, resistant will, to checking our willpower so we can work with spirit to move forward in the best way possible. And that does require quite a bit of surrender, a piece of us dying. Like, what do we have to bury within ourselves? That's okay. We are at this intersection of abundance coming in. This is that Nine of Cups energy, that star yesterday. These ladies are manifestors, right? They're manifestors. And he's making a wish like Aladdin over that cup, right? He's arched over that and making a wish, like an earnest wish. But we need to ask for guidance, ask spirit about what we are manifesting and bringing to life. Both of these queens today are manifestors. They're symbols of creation, and they're masters of what they are creating and what they have created. So what you have done to bring you forward is good. But honor that. And you can't bring it with you in the same form. You've got to change it to step forward into what is really a new beginning with victory, with passion included, all kinds. Look at, I mean, she's just vibrant, right? Right? And then you're in that 10 of Cups, you're in that serenity and bliss, and your Wheel of Fortune has turned. Thanks, guys.